Hello, everyone. So again, welcome to our subject. And for today, we are about to discuss the statement of cash flows under IAS number 7. So again, this is your instructor, Noel A. Bergonia. And again, if you have questions regarding our lecture for today, please let me know on our specific chat boxes, or even you can comment your questions to our YouTube video, okay, on the below portion. Okay, so as you all know, we have discussed the set of financial statements under IAS number 1. And part of it is the statement of cash flow or cash flow statement. Okay, this financial statement, okay, gives us the information about the cash inflows and outflows of our company. So for today's discussion, we will be talking about the statement of cash flows, okay, based on the discussion of the IAS number 7. Okay, so let's start. First, let us identify what is the objective of this particular standard. So in accordance with IAS number 7, the objective, okay, of this standard is to require provision of information about the historical changes in the cash and cash equivalents of the entities by means of the statement of cash flows, okay, which classifies the cash inflows and outflows, okay, into three activities, which we will be discussing later about operating, investing, and financing activities. Okay, so this particular standard gives us the idea how to prepare for the statement of cash flows on which the entity will rely their decisions about the cash inflows and outflows. Okay, so let's try to understand what are the benefits of the cash flow information that we can derive from the statement of cash flow. So this information provides the users to evaluate, okay, the changes in the net assets of the entity. So when we talk about net assets of the entity, this refers to the assets as well as less the liabilities. Okay, so because later, okay, in the theoretical discussion of the preparation for statement of cash flows, okay, there will be one method wherein we can see actually the movement in terms of assets and even liabilities and the incorporated, okay, cash flow effects, okay, with regards to those particular elements. Okay, so again, it reflects the changes in our asset, liabilities, even the equity or the net assets of our entity. So aside from that, the financial information about the cash flow provides us, okay, the users to evaluate the financial structure of the entity. So when we talk about the financial structure of the entity, are we more on liabilities? Are we more on assets? Or even it talks about the liquidity and solvency, okay, of the entity. So when we talk about liquidity, this is the ability of the entity, no, to meet its short-term obligations. Okay, so the ability to pay yung mga currently maturing na mga liabilities and even the currently spending in terms of their operations. Okay, so that's liquidity. While solvency naman, it is the ability of the entity, okay, to pay its particular obligations in terms of the long run. Okay, and also the cash flow information provides the users to evaluate the ability to affect the amounts as well as the timing of cash flows in order to adapt the changing circumstances and opportunities. So with regards to the cash flow information in the statement of cash flows, we could be able to know whether do we need to borrow some funds pa, okay, to support our business, okay, and even when do we need to borrow funds, okay, at certain point in time. So we can found them all in our cash flow information reflected in the statement of cash flows. Okay, so aside from that, the financial information about cash flows helps, no, the entity as well as various users in assessing, okay, the entity itself, okay, how to generate the cash and cash equivalents. So do not forget that when we talk about cash flow information, it does not talk about only the cash na diniscuss sa inyo sa intermediate accounting, no? The cash in bank, the cash on hand, okay, but also it includes the cash equivalents, okay, and enables the users, okay, to develop models to assess and compare the present value of the future cash flows of different entities. Okay, so because some of the users may think of it na, okay, so I would like to invest in a business wherein they are liquid, or even they could be able to pay their obligations and they could be able to generate more cash, okay, in order for them na mapalago yung business. Okay, so it depends upon the users, no, perception on those particular cash flow information, but it helps them, no, to assess and even to compare one entity to another entity, okay, with regards to their cash flow information. So aside from those, no, we have also this cash flow information enhances comparability in terms of financial operating performance of various entities. Why? Because most of the time in our financial statements, okay, the information there are somehow estimated. Okay, so there are some accounting standard wherein it requires estimates, or even there are some certain elements in the financial statements that they need to have estimate. Okay, so in order to narrow down, okay, the particular effect of the different accounting treatments because of those what we so-called estimates. Okay, so sometimes users are using, and most of the time users are using statement of cash flows in order for them to compare. Kasi with the use of cash flow itself, okay, it does not require any estimate. Okay, so it's based on the actual cash inflow and outflow. That's why the assessment of those users with regards to the comparison, okay, would be actually, di ba, more, kumbaga, more reliable. At the same time, not necessarily reliable as to what we have discussed last time in our conceptual framework, diba? Kasi lahat naman ng financial information needs to be reliable. But they find it more in the cash flow information to be more comparable with other information, since nga po it avoids yung usage of our estimates. Kasi sa accrual basis, diba, sometimes we have not yet actual, but we tend to have estimates, okay, well, in the cash flow or the cash basis of accounting, okay, what is in the actual happening with regards to the cash inflow and outflow, yun po yung nare-report. Okay? And also, it allows the users, no, to have a checking of the accuracy of past assessments with regards to the future cash flows. Okay, and they examine the relationship as well as the profitability of examine the relationship between profitability and the net cash flow, as well as the impact of the changing prices with regards to the entity's performance. Okay. So those are some of the benefits of the cash flow statement, or even the cash flow information that we could found in the statement of cash flows. Okay, so it provides as well not only in the operations but also investing and financing activities of the entities that we will be discussing later, okay, in the different parts of the statement of cash flows. Okay, so as mentioned to you a while ago, okay, the statement of cash flows not only reflects the cash itself, but it includes as well the cash equivalents. So let's talk about now cash equivalents in accordance with IAS number 7. So the cash equivalents are short-term, highly liquid investments that are readily convertible into cash, okay, which have insignificant risks because of the fact that it is in terms of short-term, okay, timing, okay, is just small amount up to its maturity, okay, which causes that there would be an insignificant risks already. And when we talk about cash equivalents, these are somehow short-term investments, okay, that qualifies only if they mature in a short period of time. Okay, based on the standard, it would be 3 months or less from the date of acquisition. So as discussed in your cash and cash equivalents and intermediate accounting, di ba? So if I purchase it on 12/01, okay, 2020, okay, and you will be reporting it on December 31, 2020, okay, and it matures on, let's say, for example, January 1, okay, 2021, of course, pasok ba siya doon sa ating cash equivalents? The answer would be yes. Why? Because of the fact that from the date of your acquisition, which is on December 1, 2020, okay, up to January 31, 2021, it took only 2 months. Tama po ba? Okay, so it's cash equivalent at the end of the reporting period. But if it exceeds yung 3 months, let's say for example, that particular investment matures, okay? Let's say for example, April, no? April 1, 2021. So it's already ilang buwan yun. Okay, December, January, February, March. Okay, so it is already 4 months. Then you could not qualify this particular investment as, okay, cash equivalents because it does not meet the criteria in accordance with IAS number 7, which is it should be 3 months or less from the date of acquisition. So what will happen on that investment will become current asset pa rin naman po, but not part of our cash equivalents. Okay? So also, as part of our cash equivalent would be somehow equity investments. Okay? But they are excluded in our cash equivalents unless, okay, they are in substance cash equivalents. Let's say, okay, you have the preferred shares acquired in short period of time of maturity and with specified redemption date. So this is an example of a redeemable preference shares, and redeemable preference shares which are usually not maturing within 3 months. Okay, then they would be not maturing within 3 months, then they will not be part of the cash equivalent, since it's also the same with what we have discussed in the second bullet, that it should mature in the short period of time. Okay, so not only that, now when we talk about cash equivalents, okay, it entails also some other activities now based on IAS number 7. Okay, we're in the bank borrowings are generally considered as financing activities. So pag nangutang po tayo, of course, that would be part of our financing activities to be discussed later. And however, in some countries, no, bank overdrafts, okay, as you all know, bank overdrafts are the excess of the particular making of the checks. Okay, so pag gumawa ka ng check, okay, and then you create the check, not necessarily create the check itself, yung isusulat mo yung check, or you will issue the check, okay, which exceeds the amount that you have in the bank, and then that's you have a bank overdraft, hindi po ba? Okay, so in some other countries daw, bank overdrafts, okay, which are repayable on demand, will form part of the integral part of the cash management. Okay, so eventually sa kanila, no, in some other countries, bank overdrafts are considered as part of the cash and cash equivalent. So ino-offset nila doon. But di ba in IAS number 1 and even in our various discussions previously, di ba, offsetting will not be allowed. Okay, but okay, again, if this is part of the integral part of the management, okay, or the cash management system of the entity, then it could be part of your cash and cash equivalent. Okay, cash flows excludes movement, of course, between the items that constitute cash and cash equivalents because the components are part of the cash management of the entity rather than operating, investing, and financing. So if there would be acquisitions with regards to cash equivalents at the end of the reporting period, this will not be a part of any of the activities to be discussed later, since as mentioned here nga po, the cash flows related to any movement of the cash and cash equivalent. So let's say you purchase cash as a cash equivalent, di ba? So your entry would be debit cash and cash equivalent. Actually, kung isang title ka, then yung credit cash and cash equivalent. So parang, ewan lang, di ba? It seems to be offsetting in terms of the amount, di ba? But also the standard states naman that we should exclude any movement on those particular items, okay? Because they are not part of any of the activities. Okay, are we clear on that? So again, we will not see any movement. Pag sinabing may purchase of cash equivalents, you will not include that in the statement of cash flow later. Okay? And the cash management includes investment of excess cash in cash equivalents. Kasi meron din naman some certain small amount of interest which is insignificant, sabi nga natin kanina. But again, okay, at least meron pa rin pong certain interest, no, that would be part of your cash management system. Okay? So are we clear on that? No, it was discussed yung cash and cash equivalents na yan as well in IAS number 7. Okay, so how do we present now the statement of cash flows? So in accordance with IAS number 7, paragraph number 10, the statement of cash flows natin, okay, should be prepared and be classified into three activities. As mentioned to you a while ago, we have the operating, the investing, and the financing activities, which will be discussed again on the succeeding slides. Okay, so let's start with the first part of our statement of cash flows. We have the operating activities. So pag sinabi po nating operating activities, these are the activities of the entity related to the principal revenue producing activities, okay, other than not investing or even financing activities. So it's somehow related to, okay, pag principal revenue producing, so it means it's more on, if you are a service business, then it's more on the providing of services, diba, for a fee. And even if merchandising, then selling, okay, and manufacturing, all about the manufacturing and selling of the products, okay. Also, this particular operating activities, okay, results from transactions and other events that are into the determination of profit or loss. Kasi di ba, most of the time, what is in the profit or loss natin are coming from the operating activities, di ba? Such as yung revenue natin, such as sales, service revenue, okay, and even the purchase of merchandise or even payment of some operating expenditures, okay, are found in the profit or loss. In accordance in IAS number 7, okay, so this operating activities should be presented based on two methods, okay, either the direct method or indirect method. So later we will be presenting the contents of direct and indirect methods. Okay, so let's start with the operating activities under direct method. So when we talk about direct method, okay, this refers to the information in the operating activities, okay, as part of the statement of cash flows, which reflects the major classes of gross receipts and gross payments, okay, related to the operations of the entity. Okay, so kumbaga parang pinapakita dito yung pinaka-major, no, na mga activities with regards to the cash receipts and payments. Kasi mamaya in the indirect method, medyo iba yung way how to derive with the cash flows related to the operating activities. Okay, so what are those examples of the cash flows from our operating activities that would be classified based on the gross cash receipts or even the cash payments? So we have number one, okay, operations to, ha, the cash receipts from the sale of goods and even the rendered of services, diba? The cash receipt, take note, ha, cash receipt, so it will not include in our statement of cash flows any accruals, tama po ba, ng revenue. So it's only referring to the actual amount of the cash that we have received from the sale of goods or even rendering of services. Also, some sort of royalties and fees and commissions, as well as other revenues that we have, no? The interest revenue, okay, the commissions revenue, the royalty revenue, okay, and others, no? But again, it refers to the cash receipts, okay, not the accrual part. Okay, with regards to the outflows naman, we have the cash payments, no? Cash payments to the suppliers of goods and services. Okay, also some payments to or on behalf of the employees, so it refers to the salary payments. Okay, we have also some cash payments or even refunds that we have received with regards to income taxes, unless, no, take note, they are specifically identified with financing or investing. Kasi mamaya we will be talking about separately about income taxes dun sa bago tayo matapos. Okay, we will be discussing that as well kung saan ba siya dapat ilalagay. Okay, but in this case, no, as part of the cash flow from operating activities, any cash payments or refunds with regards to income taxes will be part of the cash flow from operating unless it is identified with the other activities. Okay. Also, some cash receipts and payments with regards to contracts held for dealing or trading purposes. Okay, kasi diba, the trading purposes would be part as well of the operating activities. And then some sort of purchase and sale of or dealing with trading securities, okay, will be classified as operating. Okay, so this is somehow related to the fair value through profit or loss that you will encounter in your investments and debt securities. Okay, and also some sort of cash advances and loans made by financial institutions. Take note, guys, that this other cash flows kanina above, okay, are somehow related to non-financial institutions. But di ba, in financial institutions such as banks or even mga lending companies, of course, their major cash inflows and even cash outflows are related to loans and even advances to other people. So, baka isipin ninyo na, ay, pang financing activity yun eh, di ba? Or even from investing activity kasi baka mamaya, okay, pang long term siya. Eh, di ba, since they are more on the operations of lending to others, yung mga financial institutions, then their loans, no, will be part of their operations. Okay? Major part ng kanilang operations. Ito lang po, no, pagka kayo po ay nagsasagot ng mga problems na in the future, okay, if there is no indication what type of business, okay, or what type of institution this particular business is, then we can assume that it is a non-financial institution unless it is indicated therein that it is a financial institution. Para hindi tayo maguluhan with regards to the classification of the activities. Okay? So since these are the major cash flows, okay, that you need to found in your statement of cash flows, okay, so here are just some of the ways how we can compute. Kasi not all of this, okay, will be reported in the various financial statements, diba? You need to recalculate them kasi most of these amounts are either coming from your ledger or even coming from your particular na notes, tama ba? And recalculated, okay? Kasi hindi naman po lahat, di ba, nagpe-present under cash basis. Actually, in our IAS number 1 discussion, our financial statement should be presented under accrual. So may kasama talagang estimates. But in that case, okay, how do we arrive on the cash flows, okay, cash receipts and payments, okay, that we can present under the operating activities? So here are just some of the computations that you can use, no, in terms of our particular na examinations or even sa mga questions na masasagutan ninyo, but also in reality, no, they can use this. Okay, but most of the time, the system, okay, the accounting information systems can do that as well. Pero much complicated kasi itong computations, lalo na kung marami kayong mga functionalities in terms of your business. Okay, so one of the example of the cash flows kanina was cash receipts from customers. Okay, so if ever man that you are going to compute for it and not given for the cash receipts, then it would be the cash receipts would come from the accounts receivable beginning natin or any trade receivables na related to the cash receipts. Then you add the net sales. Familiar naman po yung net sales, di ba? It's sales less sales returns and allowances and even sales discounts. Then you deduct the ending. So that will be the cash receipts. So parang gumagawa kayo ng T account or nire-reconstruct nyo yung ledger, no, ng isang, okay, cash, no, with regards to the inflows coming from the cash receipts from customers. Another kanina would be the cash payments to suppliers. So it includes naman yung inventory ending plus the net purchases, okay, minus the inventory beginning, and then the accounts payable beginning, then accounts payable ending should be deducted. Then that would be the cash payment to suppliers. Okay, so parang nag-work back din ulit tayo as to ano yung credit to cash kapag nagbayad tayo to our suppliers. Okay, another would be payment to employees. Okay, so if you have salaries, no, or wages, then salaries payable beginning plus the salaries expense during the period less the salaries payable ending, then that would be the cash payment to your employees. Okay, another would be regarding the purchase of prepaid assets. Okay, so if you have prepaid rents or even prepaid insurance, so you have there your ending balance, okay, then plus the expenses less your beginning, then that would be the cash payments. Kasi di ba pag tayo ay nagkaroon ng prepayments, okay, we immediately pay cash, okay, and it's not yet recognized as an expense. Okay, by the way, this reconstruction of the cash to accrual basis will be further discussed in our module 8, okay, which is our last module for our subject, okay, with regards to the cash to accrual and single entry system. Okay, but for this discussion, for the cash flows, we are just trying to discuss this as well. Okay. Also, we have the cash payments for interest. So you have the interest payable beginning plus the interest expense less the interest payable ending. Then that would be the cash payment to your interests. And then Finally, no, with regards to income taxes naman, so you have the income taxes payable beginning plus the income tax expense, then less the ending, then that would be your cash payment with regards to your income tax. Okay? So these are just some, no, lalong-lalo na sa mga sa mga classroom discussions lang, okay, and even given lang yung mga other items, no, and you are not, kumbaga, you are not yet given the chance to compute or even present yung cash receipts or payments doon sa data available, then you can recompute them using this data. Okay, I have also presented here some items na kanina din na-discuss. Okay, so it includes lang yung somehow cash paid to suppliers if you have cost of goods sold. Okay, asan yung cursor ko? Ayan, sorry. So you have the cost of goods sold, additional lang po ito, no? Cost of goods sold plus inventory ending minus beginning. So ano na-compute doon? Actually, net purchases. And then you add the beginning, then less the ending, then that would be the cash paid. So kanina, na-discuss din naman yun. Kaso, net purchases yung given. Dito nagsisimula ka naman sa cost of goods sold. Also, if you have operating expenses which encompasses both the prepaid as well as accrual. Okay, so ito naman po yun. So you have your expense, no, plus the prepaid ending, okay, and then plus the accrued expense beginning, less the prepaid expense beginning, okay, less the accrued expense ending, then that would be your cash paid for operating activities. Okay, and also in some cases that you have cash receipts, no, from other income which encompasses both unearned naman and accrued revenue. So your income, okay, plus any unearned revenue ending, plus any accrued revenue beginning, then minus unearned beginning, minus accrued income ending, then that would be your cash receipt, okay, regarding that income. Okay, so I hope that you can find these computations helpful, okay, in your particular computations for the cash flow as you present them under the direct method. Okay, kasi for classroom purposes and even in reality, no, we need talaga to recompute for those cash receipts and even cash payments. Kay lalong-lalo na if the records, okay, regarding the cash are too bulky, no, kasi lalong-lalo na ang dami-dami pang activities you can check them one by one, pero kasi kung malaking company ka, medyo complicated yung direct method. Okay? So, are we clear on that? So again, if you have questions, please let me know. By the way, baka itatanong mo, sir, nasa standard po ba itong computation sa binibigay mo? Actually, wala. Ang nakalagay lang dun sa standard is yung kaninang mga examples. Okay, I have just injected here this computation so that it will help you in terms of presenting and even computing for the cash receipts and payments that were discussed in the standard. Okay, so let me just show you an example of an operating activities now with regards to direct method. So this is an example of the direct method under the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR. No, I have tried to search large corporations now with regards to the statement of cash flows using direct method, but most of them are using indirect dahil nga po sa complexity ng kanilang mga transactions and even their records. Okay, they could not be able to present it under direct method. Okay, pero mamaya, no, I will show you paano naman po yung itsura ng indirect method. Okay, but this is for the direct method, okay, wherein you can see the cash inflows. Okay, and then you have the cash outflow. So, tignan lang natin, no? This is casino kasi. So, the cash receipt from casino, okay, even collections from other revenues. You can find it on the notes to the financial statements nila. Okay, what are the compositions of this? Okay, kasi there are also some computations related to this. Now, collections of receivables and other receipts. That's where the inflows. Okay, and then there are adjustments. Okay, so which you can find doon sa notes nila. Okay, you can download this sample financial statement from their website, okay, the PAGCOR. Okay, this is the recent financial statement of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. And also with regards to their cash outflows, so some payment of expenses, their purchase of inventories, no, mga grants nila, mga prepayments, refunds. As you can see, these are all payments. Okay? Outflows. So when we use the direct method, okay, we classify the operating activities based on the inflows and even outflows. Okay, so are we clear on that? Okay, so this is just an example of an operating activities. Okay, so I hope that if you have questions, please let me know lang po in our respective chat boxes. Okay, so let's now show naman po, okay, and discuss about indirect method. So isa lang po sa dalawa ha, there are two methods presented for operating activities, but either of the two can be used in the presentation. So the other one would be the indirect method. So under this indirect method, no, unlike with the direct kanina na you show mostly the cash inflow and outflow directly in the statement of cash flows, in this particular indirect method, so your net cash flows from operating is determined by simply adjusting the profit or loss, okay, for the effects of, okay, your changes in the period with relates to the inventories or even operating receivables and payables, okay, some non-cash items, no, such as depreciations, provisions, deferred taxes, unrealized gains or loss, and undistributed profits, okay, and even all other items on which the cash effects are investing or financing cash flows. So, ang point lang dito sa indirect method, no, we cannot present it in the way how the direct method is, no, that there are major classifications of cash inflows and outflow. But in this case, mula doon sa profit natin, kailangan natin tanggalin lahat muna ng investing and financing since we are talking about operations, okay? And also, kailangan natin tanggalin yung mga items that relates to non-cash transactions in the profit or loss. Kasi 'di ba, such as depreciation, pag inentryhan mo 'yan, wala namang cash effect 'yan. Even some provisions because these are just liabilities pa, and even deferred taxes, mga unrealized gains or losses that do not have any cash flow effect na nandun sa profit or loss. Hindi natin sinasabi na mali yung profit or loss. Tama yung profit or loss na yon. But with regards to the presentation of the indirect method, we tend to separate them from what would be, no? Kasi they are relating to accrual basis, no? Tanggalin mo lahat ng accrual doon sa profit or loss para ang matira lang ay yung cash basis na nagre-relate sa operating activities. And that's what we are presenting in the indirect method. Okay? So, somehow, no, to explain it further, ito po yung example, no, na pro forma ng indirect method. As you all know, remember in IS number 1's discussion, your net income should be based in the concept of accrual basis of accounting. Okay? So, any depreciation, because the entry for depreciation is debit cash tuloy, debit our depreciation expense, which is deducted for net income, and credit accumulated depreciation, pero hindi naman po siya nag-relate sa cash flow. Tama po ba? So, ina-add back natin yon. Okay? And even bad debts expense or any impairment losses will be added back. Any gain on sale, kasi most likely the gain or loss on sale would be dapat part yan ng cash flow doon sa investing natin. Tama po ba? Okay? And even some increase, no, in our net assets, no, or even the current assets, current liability, current assets and liabilities, the increase and this decrease on those accounts should be accounted for. Okay, so again, no, we are trying to derive the net income that should only base on cash. Okay, kaya natin tinatanggal yung any other non-cash items, okay, in this net income computations. Baka may magtanong, sir, bakit po yung increase in current asset accounts, okay, will be deducted? Kasi 'di ba, just like ano ba yung example ng current accounts? Okay, accounts receivable, 'di ba? Pag tumaas siya, ano ibig sabihin natin? So, it entails additional revenue, 'di ba? But does it relate to cash? Hindi, kasi accounts receivable naman, 'di ba? Okay, even if it increases in liability. So pag nag-increase yung liability, ano ba yung entry? Debit expense, credit tayo ng liability. Okay, yung expense dineduct for the computation of net income. But it relates to cash flow ba? Hindi. So we add it back. Okay? Pag nag-decrease naman yung current asset, so pag bumaba yung current asset, what does it mean? It entails additional collections, diba? So additional collections for cash. Okay? So also, pag nag-decrease yun, example din si prepaid, aside from additional cash, okay, it does not necessarily entails additional cash pag nag-decrease yung current asset natin. Example, no? Bakit ba nag-decrease yung current asset? Example, yung prepaid expense. So you debit expense, credit your prepaid expenses. So nagkaroon ka ng expense ulit na dinidak mo for net income purposes but it does not relate to any cash flow, di ba? So ayun, ina-add back lang natin para ma-reflect natin kung ano lang talaga yung net income based on cash. Even if it decreases in current liability. So pag nag-decrease sa current liability, what's the cost ba? Di ba? We debit liability, okay, and we credit cash. Okay, so somehow, okay, wala siya doon sa ating net income computations kasi hindi naman po siya naka-tag as expense or even revenue, di po ba? But, okay, it has a credit to cash. So that's why in terms of operations, with regards to current liability, then we will be deducting it since we have a credit to cash. Okay, so those are the reasons why we have this indirect method, no? Okay, so we cannot present the major cash flows, but of course, yung mga sources din natin in the major cash flow computation that I have shared to you a while ago are coming from these items, di ba? Yung current assets and even current liabilities, okay, that in the operating activities, okay, plays a role, no, in terms of computation, whether direct or indirect. Okay, so ayan, we will be discussing more on that, okay, in your next discussions, but okay, this is just a sample. Okay, and I will try to show you an actual indirect method para makita ninyo kung gaano kadami yung i-adjust, not only these items, kasi this is just a summary. Okay, so this is the indirect method operating activities for the Globe Telecom Incorporated and the subsidiary. So this is already a consolidated financial statement. Okay, the cash flow statement natin, na-discuss na sa ano yan, di ba? Sa CFAS natin, or even sa conceptual framework that consolidated means there is a parent and subsidiary relationship. Okay? So daanan ko lang po ito, no, to differentiate from what we have shown a while ago in the PAGCOR's direct method. Okay? So you have the income before taxes. Okay? Then you need to adjust. Sabi ko kanina, di ba? You have depreciation, amortization, impairment loss, some finance costs, okay, some gains or losses, okay, pension expenses, share-based compensations, the gains, no? And even the increased or decreased in your current assets, no? Such as the trade, inventories, contract asset, prepayments, okay? And even mga trade payables natin. Okay? So, these are just some of those na adjustments so that we could arrive to the net cash flow from operations. So you have here income taxes paid, ha? So you are separating it so that you can show how much is the income taxes paid related to the operating activities, okay, or in company in general. Okay, so are we clear on that? All right. So any questions or clarifications? Okay, so that's our operating activities. Okay, so we will deal with that more, okay, as we discuss the computations, okay, on the next discussion. Okay, so let's proceed naman on the investing activities. Okay, so this is now the second part of the statement of cash flows after the operating activities. So pag sinabi po nating investing activities, these are activities that are related to the support of the operations. Okay, so di ba, most of our operations are really based on our major revenue producing activities. But without those supports in the operations, no, such as yung mga property, plant, and equipment, and other expenditures that we have, okay, we could not be able to fulfill our operations. Okay, so via the investing activities that we have na babanggitin natin mamaya, okay, so it supports our operations. Now, these are important in the cash flows because they extend, no, expenditures have been made for the resources intended to generate future incomes and even cash flows natin. Only expenditure that results to recognize an asset in the statement of financial position are eligible for classifying as investing activities. So take note, ha, it is more on the asset, no? Kaya yung property, plant, and equipment, okay, they are somehow part of the investing activities po natin. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin na nag-invest ng pera yung owners, investing activities yun. No, because mamaya yun sa financing activities. Okay? So, what are the example for our investing activities? So, we have some sort of cash payments to acquire the PPE, some intangible assets, and other long-term assets. Okay, so they are related to investing. Outflow po yan since they are payments. Inflows pag receipts. Okay, some receipts related to the sale of PPE. Okay, kapag dinispose mo na sila, even intangible and other long-term assets. Okay, some cash payments to acquire equity or debt instruments since they are more on long-term assets din po, no? Of another entity, and interests on joint ventures other than trading. Some cash receipts as well for the sale naman of debt and equity instruments. Again, they are part of the non-current assets. Okay, kaya po sila sumasama in the investing. Napapansin nyo, kapag operating activities, more on current assets yung kasama. Okay, while for the investing, it's more on non-current assets. Okay, some cash advances and loans made to other party, okay, other than financial institution, ha, kasi kapag financial institution, as mentioned to you a while ago, it will become part of our what? Operating activities. Okay, and even some repayments then of loans, okay, other than the financial institutions. Okay, cash receipts from repayments yan, ha. Outflow kanina yung advances and loans made to another party. Pero yung receipts of repayments, that will serve as an inflow. And also some cash receipts or even payments for future contracts, forward contracts, options, and swaps, which you will be discussing in your intermediate accounting, and even some advanced accounting subjects. Okay? So those are some of the activities under the investing portion of our statement of cash flows. So to give you an idea about the content of it, I am just again getting the example from the Globe Telecom. Okay, as you can see, you have additions. So ibig sabihin, there would be purchase of PPE, investments, and intangible assets. Okay, even some collections of loans. Kasi diba, Globe is more on telecommunication. So collection of loans, receivables, okay, are not part of a financial institution since Globe is more on the telecommunication. So part siya ng ating investing, and even proceeds of sale or disposal of property and equipment, some interest and dividends received. So mamaya manonotice ninyo, sir, bakit may dividends doon sa operating, may dividends din sa, or may dividends din doon sa financing, and even may interest din tayo na nasa operating. Okay, let's talk about that mamaya as we close this discussion kasi merong separate slide about that. Okay, basta as you can see here, there are examples na meron tayong interest and dividends here in the investing activities. Okay, some proceeds of disposal and net cash flows from the consolidation. This is an example for the Globe Telecom and its subsidiaries. So that will be your net cash flow. Actually, cash outflow sila, okay, for investing activities for all of the 3 years. Kasi 'di ba, naalala ninyo sa ating IAS number 1's discussion, okay, that the financial statement should be comparable. Okay? So meaning there would be some sort of years, dito 3 taon, kanina doon sa PAGCOR 2 years, minimum of 2 naman, 'di ba, when we talk about comparable financial statements. Okay, so again, this is an example of our investing activity. So if you want to know more about the contents of that particular amount, okay, so you can find it in the notes to the financial statement of the Globe Telecom. Okay, so you can find it here in this link. Okay, so you can download the financial statement and read their notes to financial statements to understand more the computation or the amount behind this presented amount in our statement of cash flow investing activities. Okay. So last part of the statement of cash flows would be the financing activities. Okay, so again, operating activities are more on primary or principal revenue producing activities, while investing activities is more on the support, no, to the operations. And then when we talk about financing activities, okay, these are important because they are somehow predicting the claims of future cash flows by providers of capital in the entity. So anything that moves with regards to the provider of capital, whether it comes from creditors or even it comes from the owners of the entity, okay, you can found it in the financing activities. Okay, so the examples of the activities here would be cash proceeds from issuing shares or other equity instruments. So ito pang corporation, no, when there is an issuance of shares. So kapag sinabi naman po na nag-invest ng cash yung owners sa sole proprietorship, okay, invest cash, okay, yung ating owners, whether partnership or even sole proprietorship, they could be found here in the financing activity. So again, hindi po porket sinabing investing, okay, or ininvests yung cash, it will be part of the investing, but rather if it comes from the owners, then it should be part of the financing activities. Another would be cash payments to owners to acquire or redeem the entity's shares. So most likely this is somehow yung regarding sa treasury shares at yung mga redeemable preference shares natin. Okay? So ayan, no? Part siya dito sa financing. Payments, pag proceeds inflow yan, payments outflow. Then we have also some sort of proceeds from issuing debentures. So pwedeng bonds, okay, loans, notes, and other long-term and even short-term borrowings. So if it relates to borrowings, no, then it would be part of the financing. Okay, and even some repayments, okay, the cash outflow because we are paying for the amount borrowed. Okay, and also some cash payment, okay, by the lessee for the reduction of the outstanding liability. So again, it's more on the payment, okay, of liabilities and even inflows or outflows related to our shares of stock or even the investment in the capital natin. Okay, so yan po yung content ng financing activities. Okay, are we clear on that? Again it should be cash flows. Hindi pwede yung non-cash. So mamaya babanggitin natin yung mga non-cash items. Okay? So these are the example for financing activities. So we have the proceeds of borrowings. Okay? So whether long-term or short-term. Then repayments na mentioned kanina. And then ito, no, we have payment of dividends. Kanina, dividends received with regards to investment was part of the investing activities ng Globe Telecom. Dito naman, tayo yung nagbayad ng dividends, okay, to our common stock or the ordinary stock or even the preferred stock. Okay? By the way, naka-ano to if I'm not mistaken, ayun, in thousands of pesos, so ito ay million, no? Akala ninyo 5 million lang. Okay, it's million of millions, no? Of pesos. Then some exercise of stock options, you will be discussing that stock options pagdating ninyo sa Intermediate Accounting 3. And then, as you can see as well, some payments of lease liabilities na na-mention kanina in our items, no? Under financing activities. So pag sinabing leases, it's more on a long-term contract with regards to the leases. No? You will be discussing that as well in IFRS 16 for your Intermediate Accounting 3. And interest paid, napansin niyo may interest paid ulit dito. Okay, unlike with the ano rin kanina, operating na may interest paid. Okay? So these are the cash inflow or outflow related to the financing activities. I just want to show you here kasi ito na po yung dulo nung statement of cash flows nila. Okay, any net increase or decrease in the cash and cash equivalents, okay, which includes yung operating, financing, and investing. Okay, dito po yan sa net increase or decrease. Okay, and then if there would be foreign exchange differences, baka kasi there would be foreign exchange amounts that you need to translate. Okay, and then plus the beginning of the year, then that would be your cash ending. So itong cash ending na to guys na nasa statement of cash flows should be the same amount presented in your statement of financial position. Okay, so are we clear on that? Okay, pag hindi yan nag-match, nako, mayroong something mali in the statement of cash flows or even in the balance sheet natin. Okay? So any questions or clarifications, again, please let me know on our chat box. Okay, so that's all of the activities in our statement of cash flows, or whether operating, financing, and investing activities. Okay, so now let's talk about naman mga items na nakita natin kanina na nasa isang activities that could be found as well in the other activities. Okay, one of them would be the interest and dividends. Okay, so paano po ba yung magiging treatment natin? Any cash flows daw in accordance with IAS number 7, okay, for the interest and dividends received or even paid shall be disclosed separately. So each of them should be classified in the consistent manner, okay, in the period either operating, investing, and financing. So yun naman pala, 'di ba? Na kaya po tayo nakakita ng mga duplicates such as let's say yung dividends received, 'di ba? Nilagay natin siya sa investing kasi they have been received with regards to the investment. Okay? And even yung interest paid, 'di ba? Meron pwedeng lumabas 'yon sa operating, pwede rin siya lumabas sa financing. Okay? Since that interest paid is related to the financing activities, then it should be presented in the financing activities. So again, it should be consistent in the classification of where it should come from. But again, this should be disclosed separately. Okay, so the total amount of interest paid during the period, okay, is disclosed in the statement of cash flows, whether it has been recognized as expense for the profit or loss or in accordance with the IAS 23 or borrowing cost. So pag IAS 23 kasi, it would be capitalized. Okay, part po siya ng cost ng qualifying assets. So you will discuss that more in your property, plant, and equipment in intermediate accounting under IAS number 16 naman and IAS number 23. But the rest of the interests would be charged to expense if not capitalized. Okay? Also, the interests paid and interest or dividends received are classified as operating cash flows under financial institutions. So ayun po, no, importante na malaman natin what type of company or what type of institution yung ginagawa natin ng cash flows because no, their items, okay, would be different from the rest of the non-financial. Okay, kaya yung interest paid, no, and interests and dividend received, pag nakita nyo na financial institution na yun, then that would be part of the operating. Okay, tandaan nyo yan. Pag walang nakalagay kung anong uri or hindi mo kayang identify kung anong uri, then that would be what? Non-financial. Okay? Pero in general din, as an alternative, sabi dito, there is no consensus on the classification of cash flows for other entities naman. So you can still, kung if you are in doubt, no, na you cannot denote it, pero imposible kasi yun na hindi mo ma-denote sa isang activity na under ng financing or even investing. Okay? But if not, then malamang baka pumunta siya sa operating in general. Okay? So pero under paragraph number 33, no consensus on the classification as to interest and dividends. Okay? Are we clear on that? Any questions or clarifications? Okay, so to continue pa yung about interest and dividends. So the interest paid and interest and dividends received may be classified as operating because they are entering into the determination of the profit or loss. Kasi diba, interest expense, interest received or interest revenue and dividend revenue will be part of the operating cash flow. So you can classify them there as well. Okay, so alternatively, so your interest paid and interest or dividends received may be classified as financing naman in investing because they are cost of obtaining financial resources or returns on investment. So again, you should be consistent lang naman, no, in your preparation. So supposed to be kung from one period you have presented it under operating, then the succeeding period should be operating as well unless you want to disclose it, no, that you have transferred it to financing or investing. Kaya maganda kung kasi simula mo pa lang, okay, and you present it in the cash flows under talaga ng financing or investing kasi dun sila related, then continuously, no, you should present them there. Okay? Any questions? Kailangan maging consistent ka lang, di kagaya ng crush mo. De joke lang ha. Okay, so we are talking about the statement of cash flows. Okay, some dividends paid, okay, may be classified as financing activities because they are cost of obtaining the financial resources. So kanina naman, no, in our example, dividends paid are part of the financing activities. And also, dividends paid may be part of the operating activities in order to assist users the ability to pay dividend out of operating cash flows. Pero bihira lang din naman na nag-represent ng dividends paid sa operating. No? Alternative lang din naman kasi siya. Pero most of the time, they show it under financing activities. Okay? So are we clear on that? So again, has a standard, you are given some alternatives where you're going to present them. But again, now it's a matter of consistency on how you have presented it previously na tuloy-tuloy mo na yung paggamit. Okay? And I need you to understand na whenever it would be in the examinations, no? Of course, hindi na makaililituhin. So supposed to be, no? Pero in theory, pwede kayong magbigay ng alternative kung yung question is about alternative. Pero in reality, no, in the preparation, as you have seen kanina in the various examples natin for the Globe Telecom and also for the ano ba yung isa natin? PAGCOR, di ba? Na statement of cash flows, you have seen there that they have denoted yung mga general na mga sinabi sa standard, di ba? Such as in the operating, yung sa financing yung dividends, and the likes, okay? So, bihira silang gumamit ng alternative. Pero still, the standard now recognizes that there are alternatives. Okay? Also, aside from that, meron din tayong taxes and income. Di ba? Kanina, napansin niyo meron taxes paid doon sa various na mga activities. Ang sabi sa standard, no, cash flows arising from taxes, okay, shall be presented separately and shall be classified as cash flows from operating. So the general is operating. So kung hindi kayo nakakita ng any taxes paid, no, in the financing and even in investing, okay lang po yun. Kasi as a general, it would be part of the operating. Unless nga po that there would be circumstances na financing related yon and investing activities, no, na gusto nilang i-present yun doon sa mga activities na yun, then they can do so. Okay? Since the standard allows naman to be presented there under financing and investing. Lalo na, di ba, pag taxes na related sa interest ng inutang, then the interest is part of the financing, then pwede nila i-present sa financing. Even pag nagbenta ka ng mga non-cash assets and there would be related taxes there, then they could present the taxes in the investing activities naman. Okay? But in general, pag nakita mo, taxes paid or income taxes related, kaya at wala namang identifying items, no, kung saan po siya, then you could find it in the operating activities. Okay? And finally, no, kanina nabanggit natin that any non-cash transactions should not be presented in the statement of cash flows kasi lahat ng mga transactions doon are related to the cash flows. So what will happen to the non-cash transactions? So investing and financing transactions that do not require the use of cash and cash equivalents shall be excluded in the statement of cash flows, no? Kasi kanina in our indirect method, lahat ng mga non-cash transactions related to the profit or loss, tinanggal natin. Nakapresent siya doon, pero tinatanggal or ina-add back natin kasi gusto natin makuha yung cash flows from operating. Pero on the part ng investing and financing and even pag direct method, okay, wala na po siya doon sa statement of cash flows mismo. Okay? Examples ng mga non-cash transactions would be, of course, acquisition of assets either by having a liability. So debit ka ng asset and credit ka ng payable. So walang cash involved, no? So that means it should not be presented any in the cash flows. Pero do not worry guys, kung hindi man siya presented sa statement of cash flows, it would be presented in other financial statement as well, di ba? Kagaya nito, may payable ka. So nasa balance sheet yung payable related na activity mo nun. Okay? Even some acquisitions by the entity by means of equity issue. So pag nag-issue po ng shares of stock, no, yung company, okay? So ayun, no? Even pwede rin kasing pambayad ng liabilities yung shares, no? Even pag nag-convert yung liability into shares. So that's also non-cash transactions that should not be presented in the statement of cash flows. Yung mga sinasabi kong yun, madadaanan ninyo in your other accounting subjects as well. And even ito, conversion of debt to equity. Okay? So may mga convertible bonds kasi, okay, that from being a liability, it could become shares of stock. Okay? So they should not be again presented. Pero wala naman tayong problema kung ito ay related sa cash inflow or outflow, no? Ang gawin mo lang is tama mong identify kung saan siyang activity, whether operating, financing, or even investing activities. Okay? So, this is our discussion of IAS number 7. Okay, if you have questions, please key in your questions on our respective chat boxes and even in the comment portion of this particular video. Okay, so on our next video, we will, or even discussion, we will show the examples naman, no? How to answer related problems about cash flows, okay, if you are given some sort of data na hindi naman kayo pinapagawa ng buong statement of cash flows. Okay? So again, thank you very much for listening and I hope na may natutunan po kayo. So again, thank you very much and have a great day. I'll see you all on our next discussion. Okay? Kamsahamnida and sayonara. Bye-bye. Have a great day.